external JavaScript, we just link it to a web page, meaning if we are using external JavaScript, we have to create a JavaScript file. And let's first create a JavaScript file here. New file, though we may not use it, maybe let's call it script dot. Now, if it is a HTML file, we say index.html. But if it is a JavaScript file, we say .js. So we shall say script.js like that. This is the file. So in this case, this is a JavaScript file which we are supposed to use externally. Then I forgot to show us how to create an external CSS file. We can just say maybe style.css since it is CSS. So these are external files, external JavaScript, external CSS. But our main focus is learning JavaScript. And in the first case, we are not going to use this external JS here. So in this case, I'm going to delete this file. I also delete the CSS. So we are using JavaScript internally. So when we are using CSS internally, we use the style tag. And in this case, we are going to use the script tag. When we are dealing with JavaScript, we use the script tag like that. It is a double tag. It opens and closes. So this JavaScript can either be put at the top, in the middle, or at the end of the of the web page. It has no issues with positioning. So you can come here, press enter. Let me try to first space my work. When I do this, yeah. So inside here, inside these two, when I click on this, you can see that the opening is on line 6 and the closing is on line 8. So whatever JavaScript code we want to write, we put it inside here. So when we are using JavaScript, first of all, you have to know what do you want to do. JavaScript has very many ways. Very many ways to use it. The first one is responsiveness. If you want your website to be accessed on small devices, medium devices, and very large devices. Secondly, you can use it to display messages on a screen. And I'll start with displaying messages on a screen. Let's take an example. Maybe I want to have a pop-up message before a website runs. So I'll come and say window, like that. Window, then I'll say .onload, window, .onload, window.onload like this. Then I put the equal sign. Then I put that function like that, the way it is, like that. Then maybe, let me first accept this. Okay. It is window.onload, just window. Window as the window is opening a new window, just popping up of a small window. Then onload, that this line of code should load a new window. Just this line of code. Window.onload. It is a function, a JavaScript function, which is already in the system. Whatever it does was already made by the people who made JavaScript. So for us, we are just using this function. So we shall say window.onload. We are loading another window that is going to pop up. Then we say function. Function equals to function. What is this window going to do? What is it going to show? Then when you open a function, the syntax for opening a function in JavaScript, you can put like this, a function. You either give it a name here or you don't. You just say function. The function should have these opening braces. And in these braces, in this case, we are leaving them empty. But if JavaScript is more complicated, we shall find we have variables and parameters. And the variable is a meaningful name that stores something in memory as long as the code is executing. But in this case, we are going to leave that part empty. Then we open this bracket. I said when we are opening this bracket, it means now we are dealing with the body. So when you open the body, you're supposed to close it here. So in this case, I would have to close it and then I'll have to terminate. I said I'll not say semicolon again, I'll just say terminate. Then inside the body, inside this bracket on line number 7 and line number 9, we put what we want to display. So in this case, I want to display, welcome to NextSoluTech Academy. It is just from line number 6 up to line number 10. So that is an alert. An alert that when I come here, let me just run it automatically from here. Just go live. When I run it, you will see this message. Welcome to NextSoluTech Academy. They will tell you this is, of course, the server, the live server I've started. It will say, welcome to NextSoluTech Academy. Then when I click OK, it will display our usual screen. It will be the same when I refresh. Let me first remove that. Let's first understand the JavaScript code. First of all, it is in a script tag. And when we put it in a script tag, just like that, we always call it internal JavaScript. And we use the JavaScript functions, window, onload, then the function and the alert. So when we say window.onload, it means we are loading a new window. And now the function is telling us what should be in that window. If I come here and just say maybe I change this text. So if I come here and update anything here, maybe I say welcome to NextSoluTech Academy. The same decide it will say welcome to NextSoluTech Academy, then I will say okay. That is just an alert. This alert itself, it is a function. But now what are we putting in the parameter? We are putting the message. If I risk and remove maybe this quote, I remove that quote and also remove this quote like that. Then I come here and maybe refresh. It will not show anything because this is just a message. It is supposed to be, if we want it to display exact text in JavaScript, you want to display that exact text. It is always in quotes. It is always in quotes because if it is not in quotes, it will not display. That's why we have welcome to NextSoluTech in quotes. Then we shall see this here. Welcome to NextSoluTech Academy. Someone will be like, are you not refreshing and it is running? Since we have limited time, I think we are just going to make a video and upload on the extensions we are supposed to install, depending on what you're developing. But in this case, the option I'm using is what we call a live server. I don't need to refresh anything. Even if I just remove this or like this, it will refresh the browser and also remove the O as I removed it. So that is what we call the live server. We shall just make a video and put on our YouTube, then we drop the link. So you people will find the video and install all the extensions. So here we are using JavaScript to display a message. We can also use JavaScript on a button. Maybe we want a button to respond in one way or the other. There are two options. There is use of input option. Let me first remove this and maximize this maybe. There is use of input option like that, which gives us type, maybe you say type button. After putting type button, you can also put the value. I didn't intend to use JavaScript from the start. We just remove this like this. Like this. Then I just put it here. It will be maybe this button, we call it login, like this. Like this. So if we have this login button like that, that is one way of creating a button. Then we can also have it this way. We say button like that. Button, then we say login, like this, like this. So these are two buttons. Having two buttons, meaning if we come to our browser, we are going to have the same two buttons, but again, these buttons, when you look at it, welcome to NextSoluTech, okay. We are going to use the two buttons in the different cases we want to use JavaScript, because they are all the same, but we want to see how to use one that was created using button and one that was created using login. So if I come here and remove this word login, I remove it maybe. Let's look at this button here. It doesn't have any value. But once I come here and put back its value like that, it will refresh this side, then we shall have login. So how do we use JavaScript to create the same pop-up message that we created in the other side? There are two methods. There is use of a function like the one we have here. Let me first take off this browser window like this. So when you look at line number 78, after our here value login that we had, we just came and said on click, that when this button is clicked, it should open a window, and this window we want a location. This window, where is that location of that window that it should open? Index.html. What if we want it to just open some text, maybe to load some text? Oh, I'm making an error. Yeah. No, I have to. So on line number 78, the other one was opening. It was opening a window. But here we want it to bring an alert. Do you see this? The most important field on line number 78 is on click. That when you click this button, what should it do? The first time it was telling us window.location, sorry, window.onload.location, then they were giving us href, then the window we are supposed to open. But in this case, since I only created one file here, that's why I rejected that here. I only have index.html. But now in this case, it was telling me again to load the same file, something that doesn't look professional. But here, when I say on click, this is inline JavaScript. On click, then alert, then login, clicked. If I come back to the browser here, like this to the browser, it will have refreshed, then I click OK. Okay. If I come to, was it the first login, and I click on login, it will say login clicked. The same message can be added to the next button. This is the first button, on click, alert, login clicked. Then let's see what we are going to do to this. In this case, there are two ways. You can have it the same way you had it the other side, but the only difference we have is that here, when you have button, we put it in the opening. We placed it in the opening tag. On click, alert, login clicked. The same button. So if we come here, to the browser and click on the second button, still we shall have the same message. But now that is use of inline. But what if I want to use the other one, the script, the internal script on a button, like how we use the CSS, like giving some element a class, like how we gave here class Eve, class Teddy, class Patricia. What if I want to use the same method? Because the first CSS we used was this inline, then we came here and used this one so that we could use internal. The same applies to here. Here I have used inline JavaScript, but what if I want to use internal? Let me just remove this here so that we use internal here. Just remove this. Just use this. I just take off this. Yeah. Now I will have cleared my work. So In this case, I just want to use a function to load the other JavaScript app. So when I'm using a function, I'll use the same method. I'll come and say on click like that. Then I'll have to put the equal sign. After putting the equal sign, maybe I'll say, maybe I'll use click, then I'll come and open this as a method like that. Yeah, like the way it is. Click is the name of the function. You can use any here, that's why they're even putting any. You can use any word. Maybe let me change and call it maybe if, like that. After calling it if, so when you click this button, it should do what is in if. But again, if I try to go back to the browser, it is the second button here. Let me do this, I refresh. I just come to the second button, it will not do anything. Why? Because now here on line 81 I have if, but again I don't have if in my JavaScript, in my internal JavaScript. So I'll have to come back here in my script inside here, and we know script is the internal JavaScript. I click enter here, then I'll come and say the other one was a function, and this function is if there. After creating the function if, I open a body for if. So when I open this body for if, of course it is supposed to be opened at the same time closed like that. So I come inside here. Sorry, I first terminate because the rules are the same. After terminating, I come inside the body. Then I put anything I want to put. I can maybe put that, I say alert, then I say you have clicked the button. Maybe let me say you are, just say you are calling, if, like that, if. Then because I wanted to say that, I'll come back to the button here down. Instead of saying login here, I just say call me, like that. You are calling if, maybe I'll say, we just use this, I'll say click OK. OK to call if, call if like this. So after saving and I come back to the browser here, I'll try to send off this as many times as I can. So when you look at this, our first button is login. When you click on it, it will say login clicked. When you come to call me and you say call me, it will say click OK to call if. And if you've done any action for calling, when you click OK, it will have to call if. But in this case, we are just using JavaScript to show how the websites are responding, to make it more interactive. Previously, our website was not interactive, just it would do return to top and we would see it returning without this pop message. But now the first time you run the website like this, the first message is welcome to NextSoluTech Academy. Then you click OK. After clicking OK, we had these buttons about home, though they look fake, but they were for learning purposes. Then we had the home. It is saying welcome to next, because it is just refreshing the page. We told all these buttons, all these menus, I think, to refresh the page. So we linked this one to a card.html, but remember I only created one file, the index, so it can't get a card. So again, I'll come to contacts. Contacts, it was just tied to this page. Then I'll come, go home. It will tell me a card, still this was linked to a card.html, but in this case I didn't create a card. So when I log in, it will tell me login clicked. If I come and say call me, it will say click OK to call if. assuming this was Eve's website, and I'll click OK. Then it will continue with the call if that logic was planned a bit earlier. So that is internal, inline, and internal. This is internal in the script tag, like, yeah, where is that? Yeah, in the script tag, this opening and closing here. The first one is this one that loads even before the page does anything. Then the second one, it is for if, whereby if is on the call me button here. Where is that button? It is on line 85, if call me. So those are two types of JavaScript, inline and internal. What if we want to use external JavaScript? Maybe if we want to use external JavaScript, let me add another button here. Maybe I'll say button like that. Then I say, let me just do a Control Z here. I'll say maybe book like this. So when I say book, I'll just come here, and now, Control Z. I'll just come here. I put some space. No, it is responding this way. Control Z. I'll just come here, put some space, and then I'll say this function, maybe let me call it Olivier. Since it is a function, I'll have to open and close these brackets. Oh, Control Z, I forgot to put on click. I first put on click like this. On click, then I put olive as a function like that. So here we have olive, but in this case, I want to use an external. So if I'm using an external, as I told us, we have to first come and create it here. We come here and say maybe this one, let's call it script dot JS, since it is JavaScript like that. Then we have here our index, and we also have our JS here. Inside this JS, it is where I will come and put now this method here, the function. I'll just come and say function. Then I say now in this case my function is olive like this. Then I give it its parameters. Then I also open its body and close it like that. Then I just put alert, you are booking a seat. But if I come back to the browser like this and I do this, then I click on book, it will not do anything. Why will it not do anything? When you come back here in the index, the one we are running, yes, we have our button, which is line 86, book, and its function, olive, sorry. Even here we have if, but if is working. If is working simply because its JavaScript code is within the index.html file. But in this case, olive is a function, but its work is not in the index.html, meaning it is in an external JavaScript file which we call script.js. What we have to do, we have to link this index.html file to the script.js. This one you can link it anywhere. You can even come here and say, when we are linking, still we use the script tag like that, script like this. So inside the opening tag here, we come and say src. So src in this case, when we are dealing with images, we used to use src to get the image itself. Maybe you say, let me just do it here. You say img, like that, img. Then we had source. Here you would put the image, the name of the image. Then here you put the alternative, the word that should appear in case the image fails to load. This is the same case here. When you see src here, it means you should put the name of that file that you want to link to. In this case, our file is called script.js. So we shall come to our index here and put this line of code. Script source script.js, then we close our tag this side. By just doing this, you've linked the two pages, meaning this line number 86 with on-click olive now will work very well because we've linked it to the script.js. Let's test it and see. Let's remove this, also take off this, then we click on book. Of course, book is telling us you are booking a seat because we've linked the two files. Let me hope people are getting this. The JS file and the HTML file are directly linked together using line 102, which requires us to have the script tag and the attribute src, which means source. So with this JavaScript, you can play along with very many features, very many. Then after that, you can re-upload or update your code in the repository that we created yesterday. We created that repository yesterday, I think. Yeah, this is it. I don't normally close these tabs, but I don't know whether it will load a little bit faster. This was it with our link here. So you can just come back here in the code. Maybe you come to that index file. You either choose what you want to do with it. You either update, you can do anything. You remove the code and paste the one you finished, or you delete it and load another file. It's fine. You can do anything with it with GitHub. Then after, you host it live again. Because if you don't host it, it will take some time for the server to recognize the code you've uploaded now and change the other, and it will not update immediately, or else you create another repository. But if you're not creating another repository, it will take some good time to update your window, your website with what you've put. That is the disadvantage. So I think this is the server, yeah. So this is what we have so far. There are very many things you can do with. Then maybe because JavaScript is not that heavy, it is just for making it responsive. Just the pop-up messages, the console, this is for the. After that, you can come back to our file, the one we've been using, and add this line 102, to connect the index.html file to the script.js.